All right, let's do this. This is Elliot with your GRE question of the day. We're going to be looking at text completion in just a moment here. So let's take a second to grab our verbal hats and we can dive in. Let's get psyched. We're looking just at a one blank text completion question here today, but I will urge you to give yourself about 60 seconds, pause the video, read through and see if you're able to select that one answer that best completes the sentence. Even if you're not sure about a right answer, you do want to give yourself a chance to decide what can you definitely eliminate that would not complete the sentence correctly before you unpause me, and we'll talk it over and see if we can agree about the right answer. All right, so the sentence says the graduation speaker's address, despite her clear passion for motivating bright young minds, was later mocked by many of the students in attendance in spite of, or perhaps in part because of, her demonstrated blank. So as we would usually do, the strategy here is to look for a key word or phrase in that sentence that indicates to us what the meaning of the word that goes in the blank ought to be. So I will ask you, is there maybe a key word in here that suggests to us the blank should maybe mean the same or mean the opposite of that key word? What do y'all think? I think there definitely is. It says, despite her clear passion. And then later it says her demonstrated blank. So clear passion lines up nicely with a demonstrated blank. If her passion was so clear, then whatever she demonstrated is probably also pretty similar to passion. So if you said the word I'm looking for, I think should be a synonym for passion, I would say, great job. This is what I would anticipate or sort of predict the right answer on this question to be. Okay. And sort of makes sense maybe if she was a little over passionate, a little too enthusiastic, maybe would have been a nice word, enthusiasm, to see on that list of answers would fit nicely, that's something students might mock you for. So that does sort of fit. And that she was maybe mocked in spite of, or maybe that was the reason. Okay, it all sort of lines up. So hopefully that was pretty warm, pretty close to what you were thinking. And now we can set about evaluating this list of answers. So is there a word on this list that means pretty close to the same thing, at least in some contexts, as passion? Well, let's see here. You might have gone right to a right answer if you've got the strong vocabulary. But what tends to happen more often for most of my students is we end up falling back on process of elimination, at least initially. Let's get rid of words we know do not mean the same thing as passion. So for instance, right off the bat, I would be saying I'm getting rid of impassivity, which maybe even if you're not familiar with that word, it sort of sounds like what it means. Impassivity is close to passive, meaning like impassivity is like showing little or no emotion, not really reacting strongly at all. So really basically like the opposite, that 180 answer from a word like passion. We'll get rid of that one. And then we might, let's take them in order here. I've seen students be really drawn to audacity on this question because it seems to have a strong meaning, and the word we're looking for seems like it should be pretty strong also. But audacity, that's like boldness or fearlessness. And that's close to passion. So you can see why the test writer would put that word here, but does not really have that same meaning. Although I could see if that was maybe one of the last two that you got down to. Ardor, I find a lot of people don't really know that word. It doesn't come up in common conversation as much. And ardor does mean enthusiasm or passion are pretty much perfect substitutes for that word ardor. So that's going to end up being our correct answer. But in any case, maybe if you're not familiar with the definition, you can't eliminate it yet. So let's move along and look at answer choice C, expertise, Well, we could see why some people might get suckered into choosing expertise because it's something that a public speaker should probably have if they're being put in front of a room full of people. But expertise really isn't close at all to passion. We're going to eliminate that one. And same thing in answer choice E, geniality, not really close to passion. Geniality is like being nice, being warm, being approachable or pleasant, but doesn't really relate at all to passion. So maybe just by process of elimination, you could land on B. Or again, I'm here to tell you, enthusiasm or passion would be pretty much perfect substitutes for our correct answer choice B, ardor. All right, great job, team. We'll be at Verbal all week, so come back tomorrow for another GRE question of the day. If you have other questions or need some extra help with getting ready for the GRE in the meantime, message me on Instagram at Herson Test Prep. And until next time, happy studying.